I'll be back in a minute. Hard to live without nectar of the gods. So hey, let's see who all joins up here. Adding some shares onto some fake book pages. See if it will come up, but my Opera page is kind of choking up, so it's going to take me a minute here. So bear with me for a few seconds. How to get this thing unchoked out. Get it to pop off. What, you still hung up too? What it is, things kind of choking up here and there, being a pain in the butt. Get rid of that. Don't need that in there. Okay. Interesting. Looking at a couple things on Facebook. Why my Opera web browser hangs. Interesting. Let's see if we got it. It's getting there. Come on. Do your thing. We pop this out. Hey, a couple people starting to watch. How you doing? What's happening? I'm up here in the mid-Michigan part of Michigan, obviously, if I'm in the mid-Michigan part. I'll stay in there. I'm up in Michigan, right around Bay City, Saginaw. So if you're looking at the state of Michigan, it would be right up in here. I'm in Midland, which is about right up in this area. Not sure familiar with Michigan. So we got a nice snowy day out back. I don't know if you can, you ain't gonna see it there, but we got some snow. So I'm gonna be enjoying my indoor weather because it's cold as shit outside. Build this Drag Race Concepts Mid Motor Tranny. Get it put together and assembled. And I'm gonna take the parts out of one or both of these trannies. Obviously, these are both RPM transmission cases. One of them has a hot racing with 500,000 diff oil. One of them has a hot racing with 200,000 diff oil. I think this feels like the lighter one. Maybe. Maybe not. Yeah, this is the lighter one. So this one probably has the hot racing aluminum idler arm on it as well. But this one has fast steady ceramic bearings in it with the 500,000. So I'm going to take this one apart. We're going to take the 500,000 hot racing diff with 500,000 oil in it and the hot fast steady bearings out. They're going to go into the Drag Race Concepts case, and then the rest of the tranny will get built up with at least the aluminum idler arm. And then I've got the Drag Race Concepts piece and one of the 22 stock shafts. So first thing I got to do is put my eyes on. Oh, what are you doing here? How'd you sneak over here? And then take this one apart. Piece here. So I'm going to start flopping these things around. Let me check my Opera. See if it's done. There it is. See if I can pop a couple of these over. Started sharing that I'm doing a little live video, and then Opera just choked right out on me. sadly. And sometimes it takes 2-3 minutes to come back around. And let's get these 3 out. We'll call that good for sharing. Get it out there a little bit. Yeah, froze right back up. I got 2 more of them done. So anyways, kind of a pain. Where is... I gotta find myself a good little cup. I don't always want to put these in the same place. So for now, I'll put these over here on that tub here. That's a ceramic Eddie's bearing too, so that'll come out of there as well. Now I'll know for sure if I got the right tranny because the aluminum racing idler gear is only in one of these 2 trannies. And that's got 200,000 diff oil in it. So, come on, there we go. This little puppy apart. Common users ones. Those are kind of crappy. Yeah, this one's kind of crappy. I like that one. Let me try this one. That's a sloppy one too. It's too big. That was only too big for it too. Yeah, find my better Allen wrenches here. Wow. It's gonna be too big or small, I should say. Man, these are kind of nappy. I got too many old Allen wrenches. I gotta cut off some ends and work if I can get it to at least start with that one, but I should have at least one good wrench for this size. These are kind of funky some days, but I need some new screws in there. That's why I bought a new screw kit. I probably need some new ends and better quality Allens or drivers. Been thinking about grabbing the money and just dropping it and buying the MIPs. I've heard there's the Aero tool sets from Aeromax, I believe it is. I hear they are really high quality as well. There's Huddy, maybe really buying into stock on the company with Huddy stuff. It's good stuff, but as European designs, I really think they deserve that extra money. It's good. I think the Huddy stuff's all made in Germany, so that's part of the reason why it's good stuff. So we're gonna pop this thing the rest of the way apart. I don't think I need to take it down this part. I believe this has to come up anywho to get that done. Well, for a minute I heard mail cart Sunday, but they do Sunday deliveries now. They are doing them anyways. Have been. But yeah, these Drag Race Concepts tranny I put together yesterday was the rear motor version, and it was a nice setup. I was very pleased with it. Let's speed this up a little bit. These long ass screws and are. Be in there. So yeah, after doing a bunch more reading, I was always a little concerned about these RPM trannies because let's face it, this RPM plastic is more forgiving, but that means it also flexes a little more. And when it flexes more, this looks like the 200,000 one. When it flexes more, it's going to wear out. And bearings get hot. I still got a screw there. Bearings get hot. They heat up that plastic. That plastic gets softer as it's warmer. And of course that leads to all sorts of issues with the bearings slipping and causing problems with alignment and everything else. Okay, that's the stock Traxxas. So these are all the fast steady bearings. I'll take all my shims out because I'll need a few here and there. I'm gonna have to probably get a little cleaner. I put a little too much grease on the gears too in this when I put it together. I use a marine grease generally. And I think I got a little too much in here, a little too thick, and it was a little gummy too because it wasn't turning as smoothly as it should have. And that was something I was going to need to get taken care of and clean out as well. So I figured I'd do all that while I'm building this tranny. And that's another thing. You can just kind of turn these bearings sideways and pop them out, and that's really not that great. But yeah, these are all the fast steady bearings. They should be my fast steady ceramics, and I gotta label them too. So what I'm gonna do is grab another paper towel. I'm gonna have to go get another roll because I'm almost out here. Fold it. 3 and 4. Need that. Take that out. I think there's one on there. Looks like it. Yep. That off. We need the top shaft gear, but we don't need the top shaft. Yeah, we'll crack that thing with me. Okay. There's the 1/2. Let's see what did I do with the other half of the tranny case? Where did I put it? Sometimes. And I'm gonna need, yeah, that's another reason I know I got the stock top shaft face. Okay. So we'll throw a couple. Get it together. A couple of these screws back in place just to help hold her in together, and put this case aside. And we'll throw one of these long ones in there. Kind of hold those two together. Got all the stuff out of it that I need. And we can put this over here out of the way. And let me check my opera one more quick time. If you guys got any questions, go ahead and post them up. I got the chat open, so I should be able to see what you're posting, anything you got to say. Answer any questions, give me any crap you want. I'm pretty I got pretty thick skin. Say what you want. I don't give 3 squats. Can't take a good joke, you're in the wrong business. Grab my almost last one again. One more there. The only bad thing about that green grease is that thick stuff is thick and sticky. And that was probably the wrong choice to make for a drag transmission where you want it fast and smooth, except for your diff fluid. So I'm gonna have to find myself a little bit of cleaner, I think. I think that stuff will work. I got some Moo RC or Cow RC Moo Slick. I think I spray a little bit on that and hit it with the cleaning brush here. I might be able to get a lot of that crap out of there. So yeah, some of the maintenance when you're doing shit too, what you end up doing is having to use a little bit of cleaner. A lot of people use brake cleaner, but be aware you use brake cleaner, you will take out any lubrication. So you have to make sure you re-lube after you use brake cleaner. So spray that down, try to wipe off all this grease. Towel, clean it up. And it's a little cleaner. Run this through the gears and try to get any of that excess ring grease out. I don't care if there's residue behind. I just had too much because that residue will keep everything well lubricated because that stuff sticks. That's one of the reasons I use it, because it doesn't fly off at 25, 35,000 RPM. It just kind of sticks. It's got a great, I don't think it's stiction is the word I want. It's really tacky and it just doesn't fling off. It's, you know, a real thick grease. And you don't want a lot of it, and I got too much. Not thinking about it, thinking about building a diff for bashing and regular stuff that I typically do. I've never been much of a racer. I'm more of an RC basher, but this is drag racing stuff. I've been a drag racer, not in real life on a strip, but I like to push the pedal to the floor and go fast. Doing it off the line is always fun, but just hobby stuff. Real life hobby stuff. Okay, where are my other two? Pop these two out. Oh no, there's that one. Yeah, that's the stock idler shaft. So these are all my fast daddies, and that's something I forgot to do when I did do these. Is I forgot to label them all. And this Moose Slick's actually pretty good. It's a silicone spray, non-harmful, all natural, pretty much stuff. Well, silicone, but environmental friendly. Cow RC is the company that makes it. I've been using this stuff. I've been out of RC for 8 years almost, 2012-ish. So I haven't used it in a while, but I had it laying around. This stuff was always good. I used it in my fifth scales, HPI Bajas, my on-road Berganzanis that I had back in the day. No, I don't say back in the day. It's only 10, 15, 20-ish years ago. I guess that's back in the day a little bit. Okay, so I need to dry these up, let them set, and let them dry. So I'm going to put them over here on this one for a minute so they can dry up from that moo. And this is a silicone lubricant, a cleaner, a protectant. Works pretty well. So if you need to really clean out brake fluid, and this stuff's thin, it will work into the between the seals and work into the inside, so it will lubricate inside and lubricate your ceramic bearings. Yeah, probably spray these once or twice as I get them ready to go in, because they'll need a couple of flushes and cleans. That was the other thing I forgot to do. I was so excited about putting this damn thing together. Took the new bearings out and just threw them in. Of course, they should have some lubrication, but you should always add a little bit, make sure they're right. Okay, let's go ahead and pop this one apart. And then I've also got just a stock Traxxas tranny case that I took apart yesterday for the donor pieces for the other 13.5 rig, which I put the Drag Race Concepts rear motor tranny in that. I did a video on that yesterday. If you look through my channel, that'll be on there. Get this one apart. Let's use this. So quite literally looks like I'm going to have a couple tranny cases for sale. If anybody needs one. Never ran, but assembled. But yeah, a lot of people like the RPMs. They probably aren't too bad. You know, I've used one of their cases, you know, a while ago when I had my two-wheel drive slashback, you know, 2008, 2009. They weren't bad back then. They better than they were, I guess, maybe. But yeah, you know, I forgot about the flex and the softer plastic, and it does heat up in flex in the stuff. Now this one's got stock bearings in it, so I really don't need to tear it apart too far, but I am going to go ahead and I got it marked 200,000 K. That was the other way I knew which one it was. But that's what I wanted. I'll put those up there. I'm going to do a little weight difference on that. Take a little shims out. Looks like I got one there. It's kind of stuck to the case, though. Yeah. Let's say it looked like a shim in there. We'll go ahead and pop that out. I'm going to mix these bearings up. Because these are just stock bearings. Shims out, so I'll probably need those. And that's the one I cut. It's heavier, so then I'll go over there. I don't need that because I got the other one. 3. That one does have to come out here. That is pretty sure that's one of the ceramics in that. Let's see the other ones. So I'll get my shims out of there. Cover some of those. I'm running low because I use them all up in these trannies. Okay. Those two in. And this tranny case can set aside. Now, one of the neat things about the RPMs that a lot of people like is they do offer the toe plates. You got a 3 degree and a 0 degree, and I was running this with 0 degree toe plates. In that setup, what did I do with the other motor plate? There it is. That one back on here. So that, 0 degree helped, keep obviously the toe at 0 degree in the rear, and life was pretty decent. But yeah, the soft RPM plastic tranny cases, that they're, plastic is a little bit more flexible because it's a little bit softer. And the heat of the gears and the tranny and the bearings, I just wasn't thinking in the long term that was going to prove out to be very beneficial in terms of consistency and tranny consistency, keeping the gears from blowing up, that type of stuff. Because that's gonna happen. What did I do? Yeah. Losing my brain some days. I spray these off real good again and try to drive any crap out. I could, pop a seal out, but when you pop a seal on a new bearing, especially a ceramic, you end up, if you ain't really careful, you end up screwing up the edge of the seal, and then it doesn't seal. And then you get crap in there real easy. So over a good heavy spray on this side. There. Slap me back on this one. All right, let's set gear out the way for the minute. Now, and get to the goody stuff. Put that there. I haven't even opened this box yet. And there it is. Of course, you get a Drag Race Concept sticker with it. Kind of a big one. I'd like to see them, get more smaller scale size stickers for like the windows and stuff on the cars. All the cars have all these little window stickers all over it and stuff. I'd like to see companies get more into that size of livery, whatever you want to livery, whatever you want to call your, base looks and your, rigs and everything else. I think it's livery, your color schemes and all that stuff. So yeah, carbon fiber motor plate design. Let me grab one of these other ones and take a small look at the differences. They're not huge, but obviously you got an aluminum case. You can come with 0 degree toes. Now they do sell a 3 degree toe as far as that goes, but these come with a 0 degree, so when you install it, you'll have 0 degree toe on the rear end. Size wise, it's pretty much, real similar. It's made to go into any Traxxas. This is their drag pack. They sell this for their stuff, but it's a Traxxas based unit. I put one in my low center of gravity slash, although because I got a rear motor, and one of the things I'll get to here in a minute, but because that's a rear motor, the nub here hit up against the back of the battery thing on the low CG chassis, and I had to cut a hole out of the bottom area there in the chassis just so that nub to slide in so it would sit down and get flat. Something to think about when you're putting in a Traxxas based unit, especially if you're using the stock chassis. But yeah, they are a nice piece, well anodized. You got, decent looks to it. Carbon fiber motor plate. Would be nice to see them do this in aluminum. The carbon fiber looks killer. Of course, it's strong, but let's face it, that aluminum will help heat transfer. One difference in this is this carbon fiber piece will help, isolate the heat from the motor to the thing, but the motor's gonna be sitting here, it's gonna get hot. This stuff's gonna get warm just from radiant heat anyways. It'll help a little bit, but I would think a aluminum motor plate, a little bit of thinning on it, Yeah, it's light ridge, just so that wind rushes over it and helps pull that heat away. I think that would be really beneficial. But overall, like I say, this one's got the toes on and that one doesn't. But if you take, this one's set up in mid motor, so one of the biggest difference that Drag Race Concepts did in their design, if you look, both of these set up in mid motor positioning, the motor plates are facing each other. And what Drag Race Concepts did is flipped everything. So on your mid motor tranny, your motor plate flips around. Now you don't have to run your motor in reverse gear because it will enter the tranny just like it would if it was set in here in a normal setup from the other way. Now when you flip this, obviously it's again backwards. Now your motor will be running reverse. So on their mid motor trannies, they've got them designed and set up so the motor is swapped when it's in mid motor. Now it runs in normal clockwise position, I believe it is, in most cases, depending on your tranny. 3 gears, I think it's going to be clockwise. So that's one of the cool things that they did. Another thing that they did is they did a slight adjustment in the lineup between the idler gear and the top shaft. You look at their specs on their page, they shifted positions a little bit to make that lining up a little bit better, and it actually does. When I built the other one yesterday, you could tell there was a bit of a difference in the way the things lined up. It just wasn't quite the same, you know, as a stock tranny. It was a little bit better, and man, that tranny was smooth. Now in that one, I used the backyard RC ceramic bearings. I didn't have any more ceramics to build it with, and I needed some, and I got a hold of Justin because he sells them. His ceramic bearings were pretty nice, so I went ahead and got his. I wonder if those go in there all that way. And they worked out, actually, yes, quite well. They seemed like a nice bearing. I bought enough to run the entire kit. So let me grab a my longer here. So long enough. Let's see how far these. Okay, those are way in there, so you don't have to pull those two out. They go way inside, so that's good. That one's out. That one's out, obviously. So we got these two, and I think we have to probably pull. Oh, no, that one goes. How far does that one go in? That one goes all the way in. That one goes all the way. So any of the 4 bolts. So I wanted to check because they could have put longer bolts to help hold the tranny case together, but they didn't. They probably seen no need for it, and I agree. So they got just 4 short bolts in here, so you don't have to take these 4 bolts out to split the cases. That's a nice little touch. Other companies probably would have just ran longer bolts in there to help hold it together. So that should be it. So she should just come apart. Make sure. Oh, right there, that one. Oh, I see. So you don't have to take it apart to take the cases off. You do have to take it apart to get the last bolt out. There's a bolt in behind you. Oh boy. I want my better fitting metal one in there. Those are in there snuggy. It's not it. I've got a couple of these things that are in really good shape. I got actually a brand new set from Traxxas, which are usually pretty good. Here we go. That's the one. A little bit of Loctite on these, so they just pulling these loose, but they're in there tight. They're not gonna. You can hear them popping. No. So it does have to come off, so you can get the bolt. There's one bolt right here behind it that's got to come out of there, so you can get the cases apart. I thought I had it for a moment. But yeah, these are actually nice cases. It almost, I'm not sure, I can't say for positive, but I'm thinking These are the same case. The mid motor and the rear motor are the same case. The only difference is which side they mount the. Oh, I see. No, looks like they're both that way too. Yeah, that's why they didn't have a plug in that side. Okay, willing to bet. Now we can come apart. It's really nicely machined on the inside. A nice recess, but you see both sides, bearing release on both sides for the top shaft. So that's what I think. I think they make the cases and the way they designed it in such a way that the motor plate can. Now it's just a different motor plate is what they're doing, and this one will go over here. So they got the motor plate with the reversed, and that goes over there for rear motor, and for mid motor it goes on the right side of the tranny. Well, same side of the tranny actually. So that's kind of a nice little deal. Screw. So got that. We can take the center shaft and slide that into place. Lock that down. Lock it down and slip it in. Let's do a little quick look here. And take a look at the difference here in these two bearings for rotating mass. So the stock idler gear is 6.2 grams. Hot racing aluminum idler gear is 2.3 grams. So almost 4 grams, 2.5 now. So let me reset it, make sure it's back to 0. 2.4, 2.5. That's 6.4 grams. Back setter. 0.3. Comes in pretty much 6.4 grams and 2.4. So yeah, basically 4 grams difference just in your idler gear. That's a stock Traxxas idler gear, and that is the hot racing aluminum idler gear. So that will cut some rotating mass. And that rotating mass will add RPMs. And in a drag race, RPMs tends to get you to the end of the track as long as you can keep traction. Kind of, I don't know, my brain works differently than most people, or if I just think differently than most people, but like a lot of people, the old adage, lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Bull crap. I'm going to tell you right now, that's a wives' tale, and it's a lie. Because you can lead a horse to water and make it drink. You don't have to abuse the horse and be mean to it or anything like that. You just, I guarantee you, I'll get on a horse. I won't abuse it. I'll just ride it. But I'll lead that horse to water, and it will drink when we get there. It's all about how you get there. So, let's see. These actually weren't too bad. Kind of dry them down on the pad here. They soaked up a bit. Take this one here individually, kind of hit them, get them dried up a tad. I want to mark them with the marker so I know that these are my ceramic bearings. It's always a good idea because they look just like every other bearing out there when they're not in the car or not in the ceramic, package brand new. Literally, there's, how do you know which one's ceramic and which one isn't? Can you tell me which one's ceramic and which one isn't? They're both same seals and everything. But they feel different when you roll them, obviously. It's the biggest way you know. But if you don't know where you put them, you don't remember, we'll do a lot of bearing checkings to figure out which ones are which, or a lot of seal pulling. Get these cleaned up. Nobody got any questions? Nothing to say yet? Okay, I see there's a few people here. Not too many. There's a couple. It's a beautiful day out. A lot of people probably off running their rigs instead of building them, like me. Day late, dollar short, but that's okay. Okay, so I will go ahead and fill these out and try to just get a sense of them. Grab my marker. All I'm doing is sliding across and writing and putting a C on it, basically saying C for ceramic. But I just put a mark across the seal so you can see that it's not just a normal bearing. I know those would be ceramic, so. Nice when you're doing maintenance, you don't have to remember exactly what bearing is where and where it's at. You just mark it with this, you know, put a little mark on it that you recognize, and there you go. Actually, you know what? I gotta think about this for a second. Sitting here running through my brain and thinking about it. I put Pro Fast Steady Ceramics in the Pro line tranny. And no, it was just in that stock. These aren't ceramics. These are just stock bearings. Okay, that is correct. I do remember now. So actually, these can just go over here. I'll spray them and wipe the marks off them. Got thinking about it, going, wait a minute. I only fit 2 trannies with ceramic bearings, and the stock tranny I fit went into the drag race concepts tranny I built yesterday. Shoot, that means the bearings I took out of there that are ceramic bearings, I mixed into my normal bearings. That's why you mark them, boys and girls. So with that being said, okay. One more back. Yep, I totally forgot that. I got thinking about that. Wait a minute. Because on the TARP, everything got ceramic bearings, even the steering rack, the Fast Steady ceramic bearing kit for the Bandit comes with ceramic steering rack bearings as well, and that's what I put in the TARP. Everything else, except for the trannies, had standard bearings. So I picked up the backyard RC bearings. First thing I want to do, I'm going to do the same thing I did yesterday, is put the idler shaft together, put it in there, and shake it. Hear that? That's how loose that idler shaft is. It's a bit of loosey-loose. So I don't want to get in there. We are going to shim that little baby. and make sure that one gets done, because that's easiest to do right away first with nothing else in there. This off. That's a thick one. I want one that thick. Here we go. These two thin 4mm Teflon normal shims from Traxxas will be just fine. One on each side. And that one there. Install our idler. Run that one there. Slide our case back together and see if we got maracas. Oh, I can see that's too thick. You can see it doesn't even want to go together, right? And that's it. So yeah, that's too thick. So let's go ahead and pull this out. Let's try with two of the thin ones I've got here. One on this side. Too thin. Now what I can do is if I need a thicker one, I'll take the thin one off, put a thicker one on. Okay. Closes. Still moving a little bit. Okay. On the shaft. Put two on the back side. One on the front side. Reassemble and see our maraca. Okay, it goes together well. Still a bit. So let's take that off. Let's go ahead and take these two off. Go back, we'll go with one of the thicker shims. And one of the fins. Knock one off, and I got one on there. It's okay. Or do I? No, I don't. I took it off. It was force. Put one of the fins on. This is tedious stuff. Tedious little things to do here. But it's this little tedious stuff that end up really making your not too much again. Okay. So their tolerances are very snug. Very tight on their tolerances, which is great. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go back to two on loop. Where are they at? Still on a bearing there. There's the other one. Go ahead and run both of these on this one. Tiny ass little shims, thin. too much too. Too much. I'm gonna take a look. I don't know exactly what I hear rattling. Might be this thing rattling around actually inside the slot. One way of doing that, we can go like this. If you ever want to hold something like that, just a small dab, little dab will do ya. Just end on here, clean it up a tad. Put a small little drip right here in the hole for the shaft. Just a smidge. Slide your shaft in. Where's my shaft? Oh, there it is. Give it a spin and then let it set. And that will actually dry up. That stuff will hold that shaft in there. It'll stop flopping around on you. Let's go like that with it. Let her set for a few moments. And I got with these are the Traxxas carriers. Team Fast Steady or Fast Steady ceramic bearings in those. And the bearings are kind of sloppy. They're not as bad as I initially thought they were, but man, the front tires slop all over the place. I don't know if it's the bearings, the axles, whatever, carriers. So I picked up some STRC, but they're a little too pale green, so I think I'll do the same thing. I'm going to use just a little bit of blue Loctite, just a smidge around the race. I'll take a Q-tip, move it around, make sure the bottom face of the race is not too much in there or too much. I'm just going to use a little bit of Loctite on those, put them in there and let them set up, and they'll hold those bearing races better. So STRCs are nice. They look good. The colors seem to be pretty good, but they're not quite the same as everything else. You can see these are a lot closer than these are. And I don't mind having slightly different hues, but when you got 6 different versions of the same color of green, it doesn't look that good. And I do like to have at least a little bit of visual appeal. Girls gotta look sexy, don't you know? Geez, hard to believe I've been doing this an hour already. I didn't think it'd be taking me no hour because it didn't take me that long anyway. So, okay, if that's the case, I'm gonna go with just one shim on each side. Just enough to say it's got a shim on it. Let me take a look here because I should have 4 of those. I don't want to put 2 on it. Make sure. Okay, I should have 1 more of these. Where did it go? It's one bad thing, and sometimes you can mess stuff. Okay, where did my other shim go? See that? Okay. As long as I don't have an extra one in here. Sure didn't stick to the bearing and get stuck on the inside. I guess that's right. I did put one on this. Oh, there it was. Two of them were stuck together. That's what it was. They're so damn thin you couldn't even tell. One, two. Okay, so we're going to call that good. Now, let's get our top shaft done. Well, yeah, let's go ahead and do our top shaft. Get that built up. It ain't hard to build. Is not hard to build. Drag Race Concepts top shaft for the team associated clutch. You could use a stock Traxxas stock shaft if you didn't want to go with a team associated clutch setup on it. Just, I believe, a stock Traxxas top shaft because it's all Traxxas from the case inward and team associated from out, and then Traxxas is a little bit different. So that's your biggest difference there. And we'll slide this little puppy. Yesterday I had to actually tap that puppy down into place. So I'm going to have to do the same thing here. This is an aluminum top shaft, not steel, so you're also cutting your rotational mass. And I are using the Traxxas stock 22 tooth top shaft gear, which is, you know, kind of heavy. It's a steel gear. I'm going to go ahead and clean it and brush it because I didn't do this one yet. Get it cleaned up from all that marine grease I use. A little too much in there. I want to clean these teeth out. And again, this Moo RC, this moose or cow RC moose lick is you know, safe. It's, you know, not going to hurt you to get it on your hands or anything. And it's a lubricant. It's a silicone lubricant, so it obviously will lubricate as well. Although it's pretty thin, so it will fling off. Okay. Now it's key that you line your stuff up when you're starting to tap this thing down. And then all I do, I don't have a hammer, so you'll have to forgive my hammer for now. It was on Snuggie. See what else I got kind of flat that I can say. Yeah, I'm almost there. Yes, it's tight. This one's tighter than the other one was. The other one was done already. Goodness, that thing's really tight. Yes, if I had a regular hammer, it would have worked better. But it shouldn't have been that tight. That was tight. But that's okay. She's not going to come off there. But she was tight. Knocked my stuff right off. much tighter than it probably should have been. So gotta, this is the side of the motor plate, so this is the side it sneaks out of. Yes, that was very tight. I didn't like that. The other one was nowhere near that bad. It went a little bit better. So it took a couple taps, but nothing like that. Okay. All right, knocked it right back off. So now that shaft's in there, that stuff's drying up, and it's kind of holding it in place. Wow. This whole shaft, I guess it didn't help that I was knocking on the top of it like that. I'm going to dress the edge here a smidge to didn't have to do this with the other one. Like I said, it went on much easier. Didn't have to tap that thing hardly at all to get it on there. But in doing so, I created a little ridge at the end of the shaft. And I need to take it down. Just so it goes in that shaft, in that bearing a little better. Say, put a little top cap on it. Probably should have took my Dremel bit and just ran it on the inside of that gear a tad and took it down a smidge, or opened up that hole. Would have been probably the better way of doing it once I found out how tight it was. Because that wasn't right. There we go. There, I got seated. Okay. Just lining up the spacers so I know what's on there. Right, where is that other one now? Getting everything in place is kind of a pain some days. There. I'll put one of these extra spacers back there. That's much nicer. Now, that's the way it should go. Even, getting out of balance seems wowing because there's only one bearing holding it. Look at that. That's what it should do. Okay. There's one back there, one there, there. You go there. So that's 3. So I got one more. It shims around. It fell out because I started with 4. And then that. So I've either knocked one down or dropped one, or it's laying around here somewhere. Here we go. And that's why you do ceramic bearings. Now there's two bearings holding the idler gear, obviously, but only one holding that top shaft. So for shiz and giggles, okay. Go ahead and slip this puppy together. That is impressive. That is exactly what we're looking for. Now I need to try to find my other little spacer here real quick. So you have to hang with me while I look through my stuff. It probably fell on the floor when I didn't even notice it because those things are so small and they just drop. You don't see it. So let me check my. Because they're thin and small, and sometimes you don't hear them. And wrapped up on one of these, did it? Make sure. Okay. Doesn't appear to be there. There it is. Right on the floor. Because I want that one for the other side of this top shaft. At least one thin bearing or spacer in between the cases. Not a wiggle. Now, let's, boy, may go back through my other tranny because it wasn't working this good. Let me clean this off. This is the one I greased out. This is my 500,000. Got 500K diff oil in it. I'm going to mark it because I didn't do it before. That way it's at least on there. Can tell. Sloppy. Put 500 on it. Okay. Last two. Bearings. Slide in snuggy. And now. Ooh. Wow. Should go in that time. Not quite straight though. Just the problem. I got a little off. Here, let me do it the way I did yesterday. That works a little smoother, a little easier on the bearing in the long run. to get it at least set up on there. Yes, it is real crude, socially unattractive, but that's so tight. It's a little crooked here. That ain't good. It ain't the way it's supposed to go on there, damn you. Get in there straight. Wow. A little snuggie. Okay. For this, probably going to try to tap that bearing out of there. I'm going to be kind of a bear. Let me see what else I have here. That's wide enough. That's too wide. Let me see. It's probably not going to be big enough, is it? Not quite. No, it's going to be on the race. Let's straighten it out a little bit. Straight's going in fine. That is the biggest thing sometimes about getting bearings in, is making sure they are straight. There's going to be a little bit of a bear if it ever needs to come out, but that would end actually pretty smooth there finally. Sometimes they can be snug. Make sure everything's right. Okay. I think these are set for one of these on each side, because that gets a little, it's actually in the backwards. The gear will go the other way, it's gear towards the top on this side. And one on this side. Now I got a few other of my small ones I'll have to put out and check. Sure that goes, but that might not. Yeah, see, this a little rocky back and forth. That tells me that a little too much in there. I can double check my bearings and make sure the bearings are seated all the way. They look like they are. Tolerances are snug, no doubt about that. I'm pretty sure it was seated well. Double check that one. Another thin. I'm not sure how that come off though. Come off my idler shaft. I'm gonna try to tap that sucker in there a little better. Make sure she's all the way seated well. I did have a little bit better piece of unit that knock this baby. Give it a little swat. A little bumps. Seat her the rest of the way. Make sure she is, anyways. Back on there. Yep, she is seated. Okay. A little too thick. I think I got a couple other ones in this other little PC. Let's see what I've got in here. A few extras. A few of the thicker ones. There, that one. Those two, I think. One on each side. These are thinner than the other ones. Much thinner. What to do? Fall right in there. Dropped it on my keyboard and I don't see it. That fell right inside the keyboard. Not sure how that's going to go. I don't think that's going to work at all. Yeah, the other one wasn't running this smooth, so I'm going to have to take a good look around at that one and figure out why it wasn't quite that smooth. Everything's snug. See, that's what that rattle was. It was that center idler shaft bouncing around. Goodness, that's just stupid. Good stupid, not bad stupid. That is that I'm gonna have to take apart my other one and do it again because it spun, but not like that. Is that that longer one? I think it is. Because that actually goes in that spot there. Yes. You got 3 shorter screws and 1 longer one. The 1 longer one goes into the recessed hole here. Snug, and no, I'm not going to Loctite these. As you see, when I undid them, they were all pretty darn tight. And you shouldn't have any problems with things going loose. Of course, you want to maintain it and check it. But I don't think you're going to need any Loctite on these. Like I say, it's how you know the motor plate on the mid motors is that lower screw goes between the motor plate and where it goes in. You got to take the motor plate to get it off. So when you're putting it together, that's how you know you're putting it together the right way. Well, actually, that does have some. I'll have to do something about that. That's too much slop. Probably. Okay, it's got to have something on the back side. Yeah, almost missed that. Almost missed that one. Yeah, check your lash on your input shaft. You don't want too much. I got way too much, so I have to put one of these wide spacers in there for sure on the back side. Because you want that sticking out as far as you can. Yep, there's plenty of tooth there. So I'm just going to grab that one. And the little one is there. Slide it back together. Check your lash. Oh, that's much better. Got just a little, I mean, almost none. And no binding. Beautiful. Make sure on my diff, I'm going ahead and put a couple screws in just to hold it together so I can not have to pinch it together and make sure she's snug anyways. There, now. I feel just a smidge of play. I mean, there is like almost none. And no drag on it. How's it? Diff, same thing. You get nothing side to side. And no drag. Finger on the bottom creates drag. All right. So I'm going to put these other two screws in here. Now that that's all good to go, get in there. Because I'm sure my cat's ready for her 1 o'clock treats. Try to keep her on a little bit of a schedule. She's a young cat, just over 1.5 years, maybe getting close to 2 years old. Yeah, I want her to get off whenever she wants. I want to try to keep her on a schedule. So snug those up, make sure they're all good. Okay, top shaft is good, free spinning. Diff is good, free spinning. Oh, that was pretty good actually. I'm gonna get better. Let's give it a test. Let's see. Gyroscopics. Let's see how she does. And I'm gonna spin this and then go get my cat at retreats and see what happens. See how long if it runs long enough till I get back. So this shouldn't take a minute or so. Just want to get a good spin on it. Come on, Katie. Well, that's why I didn't see it there, and I didn't know if you. I thought you might have left with her and took it with you. I'm doing them.
She was gonna go wash her blankets at the laundry, and I didn't need to go there.
Oh, it's still spinning. I forgot to. I was going to get the cat treats.
Katie treats, Katie, Katie. Not I, sir.
It's still spinning a little bit. No, it stopped. Okay, I didn't quite get it, so I'm gonna do it one more time. We're gonna get the sucker spinning, and I'm gonna go see if I can get my cat treats or treats and come back. Sorry about that. Got sidetracked and I got out there. So. Let's see.
Come on, girl.
All right, she got her stuff, and now it looks like it stopped. That's pretty impressive. That thing spins. I'm going to do that one more time because I want to see it again in my person. Let's see if I can get a real good spin on this stuff. Oof. Damn, that's impressive. These back away so I don't lose them. Last spacers I've got right now. That thing's still going to town. Go ahead and wipe these up a tad. That is pretty darn good. I've not seen too many, if any, transmissions in drag racing, except for somebody else who had a drag race concept who built it. They did a video, and that's what they showed, is that thing spinning like that. They kind of went up here on the camera, and of course I think it was a phone camera. Kind of held it and let it run, run, and run. That's going to be a good tranny. Aluminum, not going to give. Nice thing about the aluminum, it's going to hold those bearings very tight. They're not going to get soft. They're not going to warp out the plastics, whether it's stock or Pro Lines or RPM's tranny cases. Now, like I say, these are 69, so you could save a little bit of money with the STRC, the Integy, or one of the other brands, but for the extra $15, buy the American designed and made. So stuff's made here in America. It's not shipped in from China. They have the stuff all made here in the States. So that is a tranny that is pretty much built. I got to throw my plate on it, and we'll call it a done deal. So bear with me a few minutes. Let me get these screws in here. It's the Shelby mud. The Shelby mud. Finish up this video real quick. I didn't plan to take an hour, but I had a problem with the one or two spots, as you guys seen. No biggie, nothing to get through. Was a little abusive on getting that top gear on. That was ugly, but it works. It worked out fine. Just gonna be a pain in the butt to get off, but sometimes that's what you got to deal with. The case, again, like I said, the Drag Race Concepts case are $69.99, and then it's $15 for the top shaft. That's an aluminum top shaft. So we got an aluminum top shaft, stock 22 turn top shaft gear, stock idler pin with a hot racing aluminum idler gear. I think that's a 32 idler gear. Hot racing aluminum diff with 500,000 diff K in it. Backyard RC ceramic bearings, and pretty much those are CWC or CCW, or no, that Custom Works. CRCs, that's what they are. Calandra Racing is who made the real thin shims, and the other shims I have are just stock Traxxas shims, and that's what built this thing up. That is going to be impressive. So that's about it. We're minute 30 in, hour and a half in already. So I'm half hour, 45 minutes past what I wanted to take. But damn, look at that. I mean, that's just. Stopping there because I got it angled and it's pulling, you know, side leverage weight on it. I'll keep it kind of level here. That is just, damn, just throw it right off. Break it. That is just impressive. I'm going to do a quick little video of that. I think now that I got it all built up, again, go over what I got in it and just give it a spin like that, because that is going to make people go, oh man. All I can say is I hope Drag Race Concepts has some of these in stock, because after a few people more see these videos, I think they're going to be selling a lot of cases. In Justin, backyard, you might want to buy some of these bearings. These puppies are smooth. I still got, at some point, might end up buying one more of these trannies, and I'll buy some Team Fast Eddie ceramics. So I know I've got ceramics because I got them, but they're mixed into my other ones now because I didn't mark them originally. So when I do that, I'll put those in there and give that one a test. But yeah, guys, this puppy is ready to win some races. Thanks for sticking around this long. We'll talk to you later. Like, share, subscribe.